Today, we'll take a look at my $6 million mistake. We all make mistakes, and Lord knows I make mistakes on a daily basis. But the biggest mistake I made so far in my collecting career is one involving the $6 million man, and in actual fact, it was a series of mistakes. Let's take a look at this, and I'll tell you what not to do when buying vintage toys. So here we are, Kenner, $6 million man. So why is this a mistake? There's a whole slew of reasons. The first of which is, as a kid, I did have a $6 million man. It was handed down to me, but it was the first edition that did not have the bionic grip. It was the standard edition with the engine block. However, he was missing his socks, the badge on his tunic was gone, and there was a big blue ink stain also on the back of the tunic. So when getting one from my collection now, I wanted it to be brand new and perfect. And when doing the eBay search, this one popped up, brand new, sealed in box, although it was the second edition with the bionic grip. I thought, you know what, it's brand new, it's going to be perfect. That was mistake number one. So anyway, on eBay, it wasn't cheap, and it arrived, and as described, it was sealed in a box, it was brand new. So I figured I'll give the seller his good feedback, because he did what he said he would do, and that was deliver me a brand new sealed $6 million man. Now, I wanted it to be a really good unboxing video, so I held off doing the video, and this sat on my shelf for a good 6 to 8 weeks. Finally got round to doing the video, and all was progressing quite well. I took a knife, cut the tape, opened it, and to my horror, all this nasty dried up rubber fell out onto the table here. Of course, latex is not going to last close to half a century, and not only had it, the skin began crumbling, some of it had been adhered to the arm to the point where you could not get it off just by flicking at it with a fingernail. And I thought, this is not good. Then I thought to myself, you know what, I can get past that. It still looks nice, it's brand new, the uniform is perfect, the sneakers look good. I should point out as well, the sneakers on mine as a kid were split at the back, so they always fell off his foot. But anyway, upon taking it out and turning them round, I was aghast to see that an insect had managed to make its way inside this box. There were some gaps where the plastic had began coming away, the plastic window, and an insect had managed to get in and had died on the back of his tunic, and as it decomposed, it also began to rot through the fabric of his tunic. So I'm thinking to myself, yes, it was sealed, it was brand new, but this is not what I was expecting. So I contacted the seller, and he's basically told me to get lost, which is probably within his rights. This was like a good 2 months after the fact, and he'd already had good feedback, so why would he care? Also, his auction did state there were no refunds, so this was all on me. So mistake number two, always read the fine print. If a seller is not offering refunds, just be very careful. So now I'm thinking to myself, what can I do to salvage this? And I thought, you know what, I'm going to take the arm off and try and get it cleaned up. Because the bionic grip wasn't functioning, I guess whatever happened with all that, dry rot has somehow got into the mechanism. So his hand, it just closes by itself. It doesn't require you to hit the button here. And I ended up using a knife and to scrape away, and a lot of hot soapy water, with the intention of buying a reproduction skin to put over. But I still can't get past the fact that an insect died on his back and has left somewhat of a hole. And I know people are going to say, yeah, but when it's on display, you won't see it. I know I won't see it, but because I know it's there, it really bothers me. Furthermore, I should have held out for the original version I had, because the hand that is used for the bionic grip is like almost twice the size of the normal hand, and it just looks ridiculous when it's standing there. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. On the plus side, I've got all the documentation, the catalogue. It's such a blast to look back at these old catalogues. They were so well illustrated and laid out. You just don't get that these days. But I am now stuck with a $6 million man that I don't necessarily want anymore. But the fact that I took it out a sealed package means I lost the vast majority of the money I paid for it. So whatever I sell it for, if I do sell it, I'm making a massive loss. It doesn't actually work as intended. Like I said, the bionic hand isn't working. It does raise, of course, which is something to be thankful for. Rather annoying sound there, but it does work, so that's something to be thankful for. But this was not the experience I was hoping for. So, in summary, do your homework. If you're spending reasonable amounts of money on something, make sure it's the one thing that you really want and not something you think might do. Also, if you are opening something, open it straight away to make sure it is what it's claiming to be, because if you let it sit like I did for a month or two, you have no comeback. And the seller was well within his rights to tell me to get lost. And lastly, anticipate that vintage toys may not be as brand new as they were the day they were made. And in this case, only an idiot would not have anticipated the rubber skin on his arm being dried out, crumbling, making a mess of everything, and requiring me to do a bit of cleanup, which has probably devalued it even further. So in terms of how can I resolve this mistake, I am thinking that I may be able to find a normal right arm to put in place here. And if I want to keep the uniform looking brand spanking new, maybe a reproduction tunic might work. Failing that, I can maybe train my brain to ignore the fact that it's got a big hole where an insect died. I don't know. But all in all, it's been a rather unsatisfying experience. This was supposed to be a really joyous occasion where I was getting a brand new $6 million man and enjoy the fact he actually has socks and he has a perfect uniform. But instead, I've got one that is just not really doing it for me. So, like I said, always do your research when spending significant amounts of money on eBay, and don't just jump at the first thing you see like I did. A lot of schoolboy errors in this transaction, and I am paying the price, I guess. So there you go. That is my $6 million mistake. So please like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I'll see you in the next video.